Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, hello, Gabe. Love the show. This is your boy from Vegas. Got a few things to say to Cleveland. I stood behind Kevin Stefanski long enough. He is not a head coach. He was a great offensive coordinator, but we really need to start looking at ownership, number one. And Barry's not a great GM. He's an average GM who's learning to be a great GM. I'm lost. I'm lost for words. God help us.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Ashley, that's kind of the thing that you run into, though. You have to give head coaches and general managers time to develop. And I've had a guy that has called and been thumping the thing about Kevin Stefanski, and he made the whole Bill Belichick comment after the Patriots game. Kevin Stefanski has a better record than Bill Belichick did in his 3 years with the Browns. So guys evolve like anybody. They grow into their positions. I think Andrew Berry has the skill set to be a really good GM. Now, he hasn't hit on all of his draft picks, and we have to wait and see how they develop. And I think Kevin Stefanski is going to end up being a pretty good head coach in the NFL. And if the Browns fire him, I think they're going to regret it. Everybody points to nobody has gone on and done it. He might be the first if they let him go.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Kevin Stefanski hate right now is kind of being misdirected, or people really aren't understanding what they're seeing. Like, again, I just keep stressing, like, he is working with a quarterback who had not played a game in 700 days. I truly cannot stress enough how difficult that is. And just like how difficult it is to do basic things in terms of finding a rhythm on offense. I think people saw, if you watch that game against the Texans, to how Deshaun Watson looked Sunday against the Bengals, I do think we saw like a little bit of a jump, right? I also think it's misleading to suggest that like Kevin Stefanski is not adaptable at all, because I think it's the exact opposite. Like you said, Dave, right? Like he is so prone, I think, to adapting. He just really hasn't had to do it before now because there wasn't a quarterback change on this team before now. And I think you have seen that. You've seen them implement a lot of the read option stuff that they just did not do with Baker Mayfield. We saw that so much more in training camp. We don't see 13 personnel really anymore, right? Like not a ton of it anyway. Not like the top team. The way they were using it was so disproportional to what other teams in the NFL were using it last year. I think we've already kind of seen them adapt, but I think it's going to take more time. I think people want that instant gratification and to think like this team should be instantly better with Deshaun Watson. And I've kind of been pounding the drum with this. Like, I don't know, when we were making like our season predictions, I'm like, maybe they go like 3-3 when he comes back. This is a long layoff, and he is coming back to a new team with a coach that needs to learn what's going to work for him and how he likes to call plays. But I do think overall, like it just needs some time to develop. And they've already kind of implemented Deshaun Watson's bread and butter stuff from his days in Houston. We just need more time, and it's going to require patience, which I know in this city with this fan base that's waited so long, it might not sound fun, and it's not really fun to some extent, but I do think it's the reality.
Yeah, it's fair. And the other thing about it is football is such an instinctual game, and you're asking, take just the offensive line. They've been blocking one way for the first 11 games. They have to change it just a little. It's not drastic, but instinctually it's like, oh, I got to do this. And the minute you start thinking in a game that's as quick as the NFL, that's not a good thing for a player.